is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? We are back in black in the building. Shout out to everybody that's at the Core Plantation right now. Shout out to everybody that's making it do what it do. Man, we made it back another day, another 10 cents, but another $350 for the Dominant White Society. You already know how it is. You already know how it goes. Hey. Man, shout out to everyone that is at the Core Plantation and making it do what it do. Hey. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody that's at the Core Plantation that want to slap the shit out of a European. So shout out to all y'all niggas that's out there. I know it's a nigga right now like, this white motherfucker say one more motherfucking word to me. It's on. So shout out to them. Shout out to all my finessing ass niggas too. Hey, and I want to send a special shout out to all my niggas that's probably right now getting ready to roll a blunt and roll a little joint. Got you some mango scotto or tropiscato. You know what I'm saying? And talk about quarantining with a bitch and shit. I know y'all niggas is out there. Nigga up there talking about shit. You ain't gotta do that, baby. Shit, come on here and come quarantine with me. Shit. Quarantine dick in your mouth type shit. Shit, what you wanna do, baby girl? Shit, I got everything you need over here. You feel me? So shout out to everybody that's out there trying to use this COVID to get them some pussy. Shout out to all my women out there that's selling pussy. Hey. The only thing that I will say is if you gonna sell pussy, nigga, I'm telling you, if you gonna sell pussy, do not overcharge for your shit, cause I will check the Carfax on that pussy hole. So if you got 100,000 miles and over, you need your transmission dropped, you need your spark plugs changed, you need an oil change, and that check engine light might be on that pussy hole. So nigga, shout out to everybody that is trying to make a way out of no way. Hey. Shout out to everybody that's trying to replace the system of racism, white supremacy, and establish a system of justice. Hey. There's plenty of y'all out there, so shout out to y'all. Hey. Shout out to everybody that's out there in Texas battling this storm. Niggas can't figure out. I'm gonna get on all that, man. I was in 2021 and niggas can't figure out how to cut the power back on. Come on, man. We gotta figure this shit out, man. So shout out to everybody that is trying to move and shake in the right direction. Shout out to everybody that is still learning like me. I'm like Neely Fuller Jr. I'm still learning every day of the week. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yes, I'm trying to figure out. I got another book coming. And the book that is coming is called New World Order by Ralph Epperson. I got that book coming, but he's wrote another book called The Unseen Hand, so I'm going to be reading that book next. I'm kind of deviating from my plan, but I want to read that book because I've been eyeing it for a while. So shout out to everybody that is studying and trying to use this knowledge to better their people. That's very, very important to do that. Hey man, and shout out to the niggas that's on there on that CMOS health kick. You know, I kind of made a little slushy my shit. Feel me? So shout out to everybody that's on the CMOS. I got some good reviews on the CMOS or whatever, so you know I'm gonna keep the shit pushing. Shout out to everybody that's out there on that CMOS, doing it the right way. There should be a part of your everyday life, and if you don't take it every day, take it every other day. Shout out to everybody that's on that Tahuti Ma'at Ra Herbs. Shout out to Mix of Health. Shout out to blackandnoble.com. Shout out to Shawnee. She put me on to Black and Noble, so I am forever in her debt when it comes to that shit, because she put me on to them. Hey, and their service is A1, and I love it. And shout out to everybody that is studying, looking at everything around them, understanding what's going on, understanding that education is the key to success, and knowing that not just educating yourself and indoctrinating yourself in the dominant white society's educational system, but studying, reading, researching, looking up things for yourself and not just taking somebody's word for it. That's not what you want to do. And last but not least, shout out to all the finessing ass niggas out there. Finessing ass bitches. God damn, man. And shout out to all you people that don't have a life. And your life consists of hating on the next nigga and worrying about what they doing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Well, good for you, nigga. And hey, hey, I was talking to my brother the other day. This nigga had me rolling. This nigga was like, nigga. Hey man, and shout out to all the foundational black Americans, not the motherfucking England niggas and African coons. I like to call them Africoons. And niggas playing. I was talking to my brother, and this nigga was like, nigga, how you gonna get some nigga from England to play Rick Ross? It's like, nigga, I couldn't even watch the rest of that shit. It's like, nigga, I can't get into that shit. So shout out to all you tethers and Africoons and niggas that think that you have the gall and the right to play a foundational black American, especially somebody like Freeway Ricky Ross or somebody like Fred Hampton. And I haven't seen the movie yet, so I'm not gonna get into it, but my brother was just telling me about that shit. That shit had me rolling. That nigga had me dying. I forgot to talk about that shit. That nigga was like, nigga, I can't get into no shit like that, nigga. So shout out to all y'all. Shout out to everybody that's trying to replace the system of racism, white supremacy, and establish a system of justice. If you're not trying to do that, then I don't know what the fuck you're doing. And I'ma almost have to label you a Sambo or a coon. Shout out to all you mammies out there. It's a lot of mammies giving out pussy. Well, if your pussy got under 50,000 miles, then you can go ahead and give me a call. And I'll give you my number. My number is 702. Look, y'all niggas like, this nigga about to give all this number, look. But shout out to all y'all niggas that's out there handling business, man. And we gonna get into it, man. My man. Hey. Man. Hey, man. First, I'm gonna get on that motherfucking storm, man. Man, the power people acting, them niggas that's got the power out there in Texas acting like they are part of Cox Cable. It's like, what the fuck? Niggas ain't had power for days. Niggas done died from carbon monoxide poisoning because they got their car running all night and shit. It's like, god damn, man. My thing is always this. How is it in this United States of America Incorporated, do y'all not know how to make these power grids work when it's a snowstorm? I don't understand that. The power don't go out in New York. New York is old as fuck. And it's like, damn, I didn't even know it snowed out there in Texas. So shout out to all the people out there in Texas that's going through it. It's like, god damn, man. And that brings me to my point. I was reading this article and I see all these other people. I would say some people are piggybacking off of it. Some people are like, oh man, that's sad that's happening in Texas. My thing is, where's the president? Where's all these people at? Where are the wealthy motherfuckers at? Why don't you hold these motherfuckers accountable? Like, hey man, these people out there struggling. They can't even sleep in their own house because they ain't got no power. I bet you the elite got power though. I bet you they motherfucking power ain't went out in Texas. But here's the thing that makes me laugh. Where the fuck is Joe Biden at? Where is Kamala Harris? Where are all these motherfuckers at, man? No, they too busy trying to get the NAACP to sue Donald Trump. Don't y'all find it quite interesting that Donald Trump is at the helm of every failure or any racist bullshit? And not even, I'm just looking at it, I'm like, now how the fuck y'all in Texas, they act like Texas is a new state. How do y'all not know these storms are coming and y'all don't have power grids that are set up where the shit can't be figured out and done a different way? And it's like, well, what the fuck is going on? And it's almost like they want the shit to fail and to be fucked up, in my personal opinion, because if it's a grade A failure, then what will end up happening is this. Oh, well, we can declare a state emergency, bring the National Guard in, and blah, blah, blah. And come on, man. That shit shouldn't even happen. It almost reminds me of Hurricane Katrina. Well, we told y'all niggas to leave. Well, where the fuck is these niggas gonna go? Well, that's like a nigga saying, well, man, you gotta get out your house tomorrow. Well, where the fuck am I gonna go? Well, you got to next week, but you gotta get out. Well, where the fuck you gonna go? What you gonna do with all your belongings? What you gonna do? That you don't think that the government, in my honest opinion, you don't think the government, in my honest opinion, you don't think the government plays a big role in it? That's why I'm getting the Unseen Hand and New World Order. And I'm getting this book about Ida B. Wells too. I'm probably gonna order that tonight too. But I just don't understand why we cut the government and the dominant white society who controls the government some slack. Motherfucker be like, well, the government is ran by the dominant white society. So why don't we hold them accountable? and press the issue with them. Why are we always letting them off the hook? And the reason why the title even says the anti-black racism war is coming. And the reason why, the storm is coming. The reason why I put that is because you see how they're trying to frame the picture and create this false narrative that niggas just going around beating up Asian motherfuckers. Niggas is not going around beating up Asian motherfuckers. But then when you bring up that Asian woman that shot Akai, was it Akai Gurley? Or not Akai Gurley, but that Asian woman that shot that black woman. I'm about to look this shit up right now. You know what I'm saying? Because niggas don't want to talk about that shit. I've been seeing it on Twitter. The Asian, hold on, let me see. I'm about to look this up right now. Asian woman that shot and, hold on, and killed a young black teen girl. Let's see. Latasha Harlins. Yes. Yeah, Latasha Harlins. Yup. Let's see. Oh yeah. 25 years later, after the shooting death of teen niece Latasha Harlins, Denise Harlins urges communities to unite against racial discrimination. Yeah, that's probably some Sambo shit. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Latasha Harlins got killed. And that Asian woman shot her in the motherfucking head. Let me see. Ruth Harlan Center, grandmother Latasha Harlan's other family members raised candles in memory of Latasha Harlan on the 20th anniversary of her shooting death along Figueroa Street in Los Angeles. For Korean Americans, the case prompted soul searching and debate about the rocky relationship between Korean immigrants who own liquor stores in black communities. You see how they're trying to, and then when a nigga beat up one Asian motherfucker, oh, crime against Asians and all this other shit, Asians with attitudes. Look, let me tell you something. Y'all immigrants. This is not your country. And as the motherfucker said, I can't understand you. You need to go back to your country, nigga. Yeah, I said it. Because this ain't your country. Motherfucker so quick to tell a nigga to go back to Africa. Well, why don't you take your bitch ass back to where the fuck you came from, nigga? We were already here. You better read They Came Before Columbus by Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. And let me tell you something. Like I said, look, I know I'm foundational black American. My last name tells me that I'm a foundational black American. Because when you have the same last name as their forefathers, the white supremacists, those presidents, then what does that tell you? So I don't want to hear the shit. So I already know. So nigga, I don't want to hear none of that fake ass phony bullshit about this Asian and black coalition. You notice everybody try to, when niggas start to clap back, they try to start a coalition. Y'all don't notice that shit? Well, where was the coalition when y'all killed Latasha Harlins? I want to hear that shit. I want to hear none of that shit. Let me tell you something, man. Why would you allow immigrants to own stores in black communities? Because you don't allow us to own stores in Asian communities, but you allow them to own stores in our communities. And nobody says anything about that shit. And they act like it's just a way of life. And nobody demands more of these politicians. That's why I stop voting for these local motherfuckers too. Hey man, what you gonna do for the community? What you gonna do for the black people in the community? Why is it everyone else that owns these? Why y'all not giving grants and opportunities for business owners in this community? I don't see nobody, because you know why? We don't hold these politicians accountable, because a lot of us ain't read Powernomics or Black Labor White Wealth. You start reading these books, you start seeing like, damn man, we built this country. See, there's a certain sense of pride that comes along with that shit. See, there's no pride when you're an immigrant. Like why, Warren? Because you didn't build this country, so you don't care. And you don't have, there's no type of, I would say, energy, positive energy, and there's nothing that will give you a synergy to click up and group up with foundational black Americans, because your suffering has not been like our suffering. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't put crack cocaine in your country. They put it in our community that we built. They didn't bomb your country like they did Tulsa, Oklahoma. And even if they did bomb your country, that was way after they did us. And if any, and let me tell you something, and if you love where you was, then you wouldn't have fucking migrated the fuck over here. That's how I feel about it. Because let me tell you something. I would love to go see the pyramids and go to Africa and all that, but I know my home is the United States of America, even if they're trying to make it where it is in my home. My people built this country. That's why when you get on Twitter, you always got some moist motherfucker or talking about, oh, well, they're not immigrants. Well, they're first gen. So they could be born here, but their parents weren't born here. So that's still, by my definition, they're here for unearned benefits because you didn't build this country. Read Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson. And motherfuckers want to give you that whole song and dance about a coalition. Man, fuck a motherfucking coalition. Coalitions are for suckers. Let me tell you something. A coalition, in my honest opinion, is what got Fred Hampton killed. Because if it was more motherfuckers that was watching and making sure he was protected, they would have saw that snitch ass nigga that was in there co-opting the movement. Look, they know that this is not esoteric knowledge anymore. So that's why they putting it out through movies. Because they already know that niggas know. Niggas ain't ready. When you read shit like The Burglar, I'm going to keep showing this book. Yeah, it's the book Eli. Read this motherfucking book, man. And how them white people broke an FBI building and put out them fucking files that J. Edgar Hoover wrote about black folk and seeking and destroying the next black messiah. Because they don't want this to be disaggregate. You know the same shit they do at the corporate motherfucking plantation. And play. Why is he right, Warren? He's right because, damn, man, I got to go research the shit for myself. If you're not researching the shit for yourself, I don't know what to tell you, man. You got to research it for yourself. You can't be one of those type of people that just take somebody's word for it and think that whatever they say is the law. That's a problem, too. That's why when I was reading this article, because let me find this article. Let me see. When Ariel Sue saw a graphic video last week of an Asian American senior citizen in San Francisco being pushed to the ground and the growing social media response around it, she said she was concerned about the victim and the outcry. Sue, a chapter leader of the National American Pacific American Women's Forum, oh shit, some bullshit, said that given that suspect in the incident is black, many of the Asian Americans Pacific Islander community, including herself, were concerned about anti-black sentiment that appeared to be present in some of the online calls for justice. The online attention has prompted a conversation on coalition building and allyship that has been growing since last summer racial reckonings. Experts point out Asian Americans have the right to feel safe, but calls for increased security could have unintended consequences. Nigga, what? For organizers like Sue, seeing the actor Daniel Day Kim offer a $25,000 reward for information on the suspect felt like a bounty, she said, and the increase of calls for more police presence seemed like a backward step. Exactly. So y'all need more police, but the police out here killing niggas with impunity. Man, stop. If addressing violence against Asian Americans entails furthering stereotypes about black criminality and the policies associated with those stereotypes, we've misdiagnosed the problem, said Janelle Wong, a professor of Asian American Studies at the University of Maryland. Experts point out the wave of violence against Asian Americans during the pandemic has left the community really reeling with concern and fear, especially for the older people. These attacks have also come as the Asian American community deals with the medical and economic crisis that have come with the pandemic too. Bullshit. What further complicates the issue is that there is little data documenting hate against crime against Asian Americans. A widely reported number citing a 1,900% increase in hate crimes against Asian Americans in New York shows that the number of hate crimes jumped from 1 to 20 in a year. Stop AAP I Hate, a group that has been tracking hate incidents, which can include verbal racial slurs and attacks, do not include violence, has tallied 2,800 since last March. I want y'all to listen to this shit. Asian Americans being left out of data gathering of any kind has been long-standing concerns, especially during the pandemic, and has contributed to some of the frustration surrounding the community being erased. But multicultural communities are taking it upon themselves to support one another with mutual aid efforts. Dozens of Asian Americans organizations in other Bay Area issued a statement calling for more community-based solutions rather than relying on increased policing or policing, my bad. They had a motherfucking, damn, I need to make this shit bigger. Look, my blind ass. That shit say policing. Groups have coordinated efforts to bring in volunteers and walk older Asian Americans as they run errands. Blah, blah, blah. And then there's a picture of this nigga with a Asian and black unity, Oakland, Chinatown. Stop. Let me tell you about your Asian and black unity. Hurry up and buy. You hurry up and buy. You going now. You going now. I have nothing for you. Man, stop. Look, let me tell you something. This is what niggas don't want to talk about. These niggas don't get, look, let me tell you something about every other racial group. Once you start attacking them, it becomes a problem. But until then, they don't give a fuck. That's one. And two, if there's a China or Asian and black coalition, then why is it I never see Asians patronizing black-owned businesses, but I always see black folk in Asia, in Chinatown, Koreatown, Vietnamese town. You going to swap meets, they selling you pro clubs and all this other shit, but you never see them patronizing a black business, especially in Las Vegas, Nevada. I don't never see no Asians on the west side patronizing Annie's. I don't never see no motherfucking Asians over there at all. Stop. So, look, it's always when a nigga retaliate, when a nigga do something. That's when a motherfucker, oh, we need a black and brown coalition, or we need Asian, or when it's tangible for another racial group, then they want to attach themselves and be in alignment with black folk. Well, where are all these motherfuckers at when it's time for reparations? Where are all these motherfuckers at when it's time for us to receive tangibles that are owed to us because we built this country? First of all, if you came over here and you didn't build this country, you're an immigrant, you're a freeloader. You're here for unearned benefits. You didn't earn those benefits. I can't go to Mexico, and my lineage does not trace back to Mexico, and then sit up here talking about what shit, y'all niggas need to take care of me. Motherfucking Mexicans would be looking at me like, what the fuck is you doing over here? You're not from here, you didn't build it. No, I'd be killed. Trust me. Stop. They wouldn't allow me to do that. But let me tell you what ends up happening. This is what ends up happening. Motherfuckers be thinking life is sweet. And when you look at things, I would say in its totality, you will understand this. The system of racism and white supremacy is a never-ending battle. It's a team sport. It's an institution, and it's stacked. The deck is stacked against you. And what niggas don't understand is niggas don't want to team up. What niggas do is we team up after Latasha Harlins or one of our own people get killed by another racial group. Then we come together like, oh shit. But we so busy fighting and arguing with each other in public, shaming each other, talking shit about each other, treating each other shitty in front of other racial groups. I hate that. That's why me, when I have disagreements with other black folk, I just keep to myself and don't say nothing. I try not to speak out of turn and do nothing because other racial groups, they like that. That's entertainment to them. They like that shit. And what you have to show is I'm on code at all fucking times. And we gotta stop trying to include everybody else on our struggle because everybody else is not a foundational black American. Everybody else is not us. And let me tell you something too, man. And this is stuff that I think we gotta learn. You know, I think, in my honest opinion, I think other racial groups sit back and watch and take notes and watch exactly what we do. And then what ends up happening is this. After they take notes and they see exactly what we do and how we handle things, they jump in the mix when it's all done. That's why it's easy for motherfuckers to march, whine, and repeat with y'all. How many times have I said they'll march, whine, and repeat with you until you bring up reparations? You see what Jane Elliott did? That brother brought up reparations, and she said, well, you see what they gave the Native Americans? Do you want that? Because they didn't. You see how they treated them? If we're going to talk about reparations, we need to talk about them. We stole their country. No. They came for Columbus. Black folks were already here. Seminoles, black Indians were already here. What are you talking about? And let's just say that we weren't. Let's just hypothetically say that. That still does not negate the fact that if we go by y'all narrative, you brung people from Africa, brung them here to settle, cultivate, and build the land. Native Americans, if it was your logic, they didn't build the land. They couldn't deal with the harsh conditions, the cold winters and the harsh summers. They couldn't deal with that. That's why they're getting yellow fever and hay fever and all this other, and valley fever and all this other shit. They would just drop medical apartheid. But if we go by your narrative, there's still a debt that is owed to, if you want to say you kidnapped Africans from Africa and brung them here and made them build this land. You stripped us of our heritage, our language, our God, and you made us build a country for you. And because of us building this country, you guys are wealthy if we went by your narrative. But I'm under the belief that we were already here. After reading They Came Before Columbus and knowing about the Moors, knowing the little bit that I know about the Moors, no, we were already here. Especially after Christopher Columbus was writing all that bullshit and telling the truth. No, we were already here. And what they try to do is segregate the Native American from black folk and act like Native Americans and blacks were two separate things. Stop. And they never talk about the Seminoles. You know, they never talk about the Seminoles at all. These are just things that they try to keep esoteric to keep you deaf, dumb, and blind. That's why motherfuckers gotta wake up, understand what the fuck is going on, stop playing the goofy, dumb shit, and understand that, hey man, this is about empowering yourself, educating yourself, and handling business. That's what it's about. Because let me tell you something. That's what life is about. And I'm gonna play something about, is it Latasha Harlins? Let me see if I can find Latasha Harlins. Let's see what the mom said. Let's see. All right, there we go.
It's sad that it's at this point to where people are, I don't know, people are hurt. People are walking around here in deep pain. You know, people, you know, and then we got all this racism and hate going on and people being pitted against each other. Please don't believe the hype. Support one another, all nationalities, because we're gonna need it with this new Trump running the race hate machine that he's pumping out here. And we're gonna need to come together as forceful as possible to try to overcome this. We all have a life here and we all have something to do here. We have to stay strong and positive. This is my grandson and my granddaughter. I want to see them grow. I want to see them have a chance.
Yeah, I don't totally agree with that. And the reason why I don't totally agree with that is because Trump is not the problem. And they're trying to make Trump, and they have for the last 4 years, they've tried to make him the face of anti-black racism and racist white supremacy. No, it's a team sport. And Joe Biden, 94 crime bill Biden, Hillary Clinton, and all the rest of those Democrats are just as complicit and liable for racism, white supremacy as Donald Trump is. Donald Trump is just blunt and upfront about anti-black racism and anti any other racial group. That's what everybody didn't like. So it's easy for him to be the face of a movement when really he's not the face of the movement. The movement is anybody that is a suspected white supremacist and does not speak up, does not use their platform or their influence to combat the system of racism, white supremacy. And if you're not trying to establish a system of justice, then you're just like Donald Trump. It's just, motherfuckers think that you got to be out there, black power. No. What are you doing behind the closed doors? What are you doing to help? See, there's a lot of dominant white society people that are in positions of power that can help black folk, but they choose not to because they don't care. Because in their mind, fuck these niggas. That's how they feel. And the only way these things will change is if you give us the reparations that are owed to us. If you don't give us the reparations that are owed to us, then that's not going to change at all.
Especially him. You know, the men are being marked, torn down, broken down, jailed and everything else. And it's hard because as women and as mothers, we do the best that we can to try to be the strong arm. And so today, from this point forward, I promise to do everything I can to do my part.
And that's good. And I'm glad that, you know, I don't know when that was said. I just thought I would play that so people could get an understanding of what happens when sometimes when we give up and what happens when we want to. I don't think you should be including everybody. Why? Because everybody's not a part of this struggle. You know, and nobody wants to be a part of the struggle when we getting shot and getting killed and when we're getting redlined and gentrified. Nobody wants to be a part of the struggle, and they want to be a part of the struggle when it's on TV and it's the face of everything. Then everybody wants to be a part of holding signs and, you know, justice, no peace, and all this other shit. And no diss to all these black people. You know, I watch people like Tamika Mallory and all that, but the thing about them is, y'all have to understand, they will choose and pick certain people and put people in front of you because those are safe Negroes. And y'all have to understand that. So y'all can't just be like, oh, well, she should have said this. No, they're not gonna really particularly say shit that's going to be radical or that's gonna really shake people up because they're put there for a reason. They're put there for a motherfucking reason. I'm telling you that. I want to see what this brother Najee Ali says. Let's see what he says. Let's see what he says. I just want to see what he says. I want to, you know.
All right, go for it.
Come on out, people. We finna have prayer for Latasha Harden's family. 100 days, 100 nights of prayer. We got to pray about it. We can't just talk about it. Pull over, let's be about it. We got to get on the front line. We need more men to come out.
And see, praying about it ain't gonna solve that problem. See, that's the thing too. I'm sorry, but you can pray later. Right now, we need to get in there and handle business. Buy these politicians. Stop voting for motherfuckers just because they said they gonna do something for you. We need to get people on that political warfare game. We need to get people involved in the banking system. We need to get people involved in the construction system and the construction so niggas can get jobs. We need to get people involved, you know, in Black Hollywood and stop cooning and sandboning and start, I would say, educating our black folk and empowering them, getting black people in positions of power in corporate America, the people that don't mind taking a beating to open the door for other black folk. Because everybody can't be a business owner. You know what I'm saying? But everybody go get a job. And if we don't have people in positions of power, we're not going to get these jobs. And that's a fact.
Stand up and be accounted for. Come on, brothers. Get up on off the couch. It's time for you to stand up and be accounted for. Let's pray for this family. Let's pray for this community. Let's pray for our future. These are our kids that we're bearing out here. 100 days, 100 nights of prayer. We're going to keep going. We're going to pray about it every day. You'll get tired before we get tired. We're going to pray about this situation. Let's go, people. Let's take it to God.
Over a bottle of orange juice.
Well, we can't take it to God. Hey, what's going on? Hey, I see you. What's going on, goddess? Yamaya? I don't want to fuck it up this time. What's happening? What happened? What you say? Damn, sure ain't. What's going on? Look, man, my internet been tripping. I don't know if you watch the other podcasts, but my shit, look. Nigga like, man, I bet you niggas like, this nigga Warren ain't even pay his motherfucking cable bill. This nigga be talking about this motherfucking CMOS shit. Nigga, pay your cable bill first before you buy the CMOS. Nah, man, my internet shit been tripping. But, man, I don't understand sometimes our psyche. We just want to pray about it. And that shit ain't going to help us with shit. You know what I'm saying? That's just my perspective. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm correct. I'm not saying any of that shit. I'm just saying that, you know, that ain't really gonna help us, man. That ain't really gonna help us. But I want to play this because one motherfucker talk about the Asian and brown and Asian and black coalition. I want to play this brother.
And 25 years later, the community is here to say today, we're just not here to remember Latasha because trust me, we never forget Latasha. We never forget Latasha. 25 years ago, we protested, we were in court, and we stood shoulder to shoulder with this family. And 25 years later, we're here today to say, we are still here with the Harden's family. We love you. When Soon Daju shot and murdered Latasha Harlins, she didn't just shoot and murder Latasha, it was like she shot and murdered everyone in South Central LA.
Exactly. And that Asian got off with nothing. So I don't want to hear shit about no black and Asian coalition. What I want to hear is, why don't y'all take those liquor stores that you're poisoning black folk with, including motherfuckers like me? Shit, I'm not going to lie and act like I don't like no mango. That's why, if you notice, I drink mango scotto. I try to do as much black as I possibly can. What's mango scotto? That's E40's wine. So if you're going to buy black when you can. I'm not saying you can do everything black, but because These niggas set up shop in our neighborhood, poison it. If anybody gonna poison us, it need to be our own people. It's fucked up to say that shit, but it shouldn't be them because they're not gonna allow you to go to their cities and their fucking Koreatowns and all that and poison they folk. They're not. Go to motherfucking Koreatown if you live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and see if they let a nigga set up a barbecue spot right in the middle of their shit. They're not gonna allow you to do that at all. That's a fact.
25 years ago. That's how much it hurt. That's how much pain we went through. But we're going to make it together collectively, and we want the family to know 25 years later, Latasha will never be forgotten. She lived.
And she's not forgotten. She's not forgotten. I forgot her name, but I remember who it is. I was a kid. You know, I was young and I remember that shit. But here's my thing, though. This is the thing that I'm always going to say. 25 years later, all y'all doing is just talking. That's the problem. See, once we start reacting, and not even reacting, responding. See, when niggas start bopping Asian upside the head and say, all right, nigga, what y'all want to do? Now it's like, oh, man, we need a black and Asian coalition. You know, Chinatown. Okay, well, where the fuck was y'all at when y'all was treating niggas like shit in the liquor stores? Because let's keep it a buck. You go in a liquor store, they treat you like shit. They do. The Arab brothers and sisters do as well. And they are immigrants and they are freeloaders and they don't belong here either. I'm talking about in the capacity of running businesses in predominantly black neighborhoods. You don't belong there because I can't go to an Arab country and set up shop over there without going through the proper chain of command. And they still ain't going to allow me to do that at all. They're going to look at me like I'm fucking crazy. But only over here in United States of America Incorporated, they will allow other racial groups to set up shop in black neighborhoods and basically dog us the fuck out.
With us, through your children, through your family, through the DNA of the Hardin family, through South Central LA. So I'm glad to see everyone out here tonight to show their respect and support and love for Latasha and our family. Hardin's family, Denise, you know, I love you.
You know, and I just wanted to play y'all a little bit of that. I gotta cut the music back on, man. I get it, but it's like, I'll tell you this, man. Something happened to me. Man, y'all better not, look. Let me tell you something, Yamaya. Let me tell you something. Goddess Yamaya, if y'all see a nigga like Warren out there on some fucked up shit, you better try to find one of my family members and be like, hey, man, did you, and you better take a screenshot of me on this podcast and put the shit and be like, hey, man, yo peoples wasn't on that motherfucking coalition bullshit. He wasn't on that. And I'm going to tell you like this. Tell us what's being said when we're not in the room. Use your power effectively. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, look, man, you can have a coalition if you got real people that is really around you telling you what's being said when you're not in the room. So note this. You like, why? Oh, why you saying? Let me tell you why I'm saying that. Let me see. That's why we are where we are at. Get the fuck off your knees and do for your own people. You speak nothing but facts. That's what's being passed down, praying and being scared of crackers. That's a fact. Look, let me tell you something. I can only tell you what I've observed. I think when you have people that are in your corner that genuinely care about your culture and your people, they're going to naturally tell you what they see and what they hear. And they're naturally going to stand up. Well, Warren, how you know? Because I've been around them. I've been around white people. I've been around dominant society people that's like, nah, that shit ain't right. And I ain't doing that shit, and that shit ain't right, and I ain't with that. And I've seen them go off code and lose shit and kind of fuck up their little career at the little corporate plantation and everything. And you see those people, and to this day, they happy as can be. Because in their mind, they like, nah, I did the right thing. Nah, fuck that. That's some racist shit. That's some racist shit, and I ain't with that shit. Those are the people you got to respect. That's why I keep showing you this book, like I showed in the beginning, The Burglary. I read this book about 3 years ago. It's a fucking awesome book. And the reason why I tell you it's a great book is because it talks about these white people that's in there, these dominant white society motherfuckers, suspected white supremacists, because they're suspected until they show you otherwise, who broke into the FBI building because they were trying to do what Daniel Ellsberg did with the Pentagon Papers. because basically the fucking Pentagon, everybody was acting like the war was a good thing when really we was losing the war, and they was just in it for money. So he leaked all the information and shit. And then it got to the Washington Post, and then they leaked the shit too. And then they was trying to put the squeeze on the lady that owned the Washington Post because she inherited it from her dad or whatever. So, so what ended up happening is, I'm gonna keep telling the story. They broke into the FBI building in Pennsylvania. I think it was not too far from Philly, if I'm not mistaken. And when they broke into the building, they cased the joint for like weeks, months. They was casing it. This dude, Keith Forsyth, that's the nigga who picked the lock to break into the building. So they picked the lock, they break in the building, they raid it, they get all the fucking files that they can. They go out into the woods of Pennsylvania and they start looking through the files. They think they finna find shit about the war. So they like, damn, we didn't find nothing about the war. These are all Caucasians, white folk, suspected white supremacists. So most suspected white supremacists be like, oh man, we thought this shit was about the war, man, fuck that. Man, we broke in there for nothing. No. They come across J. Edgar Hoover's COINTELPRO papers. COINTELPRO, seek and destroy the next black messiah. You know, all these files about black people, the Black Panthers, and all this other shit, right? They get the files. They like, man, what the fuck is this? So, after they get the files, one of the dudes, I think it was either Keith Forsyth or one of them, he was protesting down south, and they all got locked up with a whole bunch of black people. Well, a black dude, I think it was a preacher, he put his farm up as collateral to bail all those black and white people out. And he never forgot that shit. And he was like, I don't know if it's Keith, you gotta, don't quote me, I might be misquote myself. It was one of them who broke into the FBI building and was like, because they took all the files back to a cabin in the woods of Pennsylvania. Once they start reading about all this racial shit about black folk, they like, bro, we gotta put this shit out here. So basically, they kept the shit out there in the woods in the cabin. They let a couple of days go by. Then they were all in college. A lot of them were in college. So they went and started making copies of the COINTELPRO files. Once J. Edgar Hoover found out that they broke into the FBI building, that motherfucker took a train from Washington, D.C. and flew right down there to motherfucking, I guess, Philly or Pennsylvania. Then he basically shut down the office, and then they started retracing their steps. Long story short, these white folks was like, no, we putting this shit out there. This is some racist shit, and we ain't with that shit. We putting the shit the fuck out. Nigga, they put that shit out there. They started mailing that shit to different newspaper outlets and shit. That nigga J. Edgar Hoover so bad, the nigga called Xerox, the owner of Xerox, and said, we, the government of the United States, will pull our contract if you don't fucking find out and trace back the toner. Because you know there was toner back then, and he narrowed it down. J. Edgar Hoover was so smart, he narrowed it down to which toner, which printers and copiers use this specific toner. And then the owner of Xerox was like, well, man, I'm not telling you that. I'm not doing. He said, we'll pull the fucking contract, the FBI contract that we pay you to have your copy machines in our buildings if you don't fucking tell me. But the people that was making the copies, they kept going to different copy machines all over different college campuses. And they put the papers out, and then a lot of them went into hiding for years, and then they finally resurfaced. And them niggas was on the FBI's most wanted list and everything. Where are those dominant white society people at? I've met a couple of them that done straight told me, oh, yep, they said this about you. This motherfucker's racist. That motherfucker's racist. Watch what you say around this person. These motherfuckers said this about you. I'm telling you right now, Warren, don't do woo, 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 woo. And everything that I vetted out from that white person was a fucking fact. But it's hard to find them because, like I said, the system of racism and white supremacy is an institution. So we got to stop waiting on every other racial group to help us, and we need to help our motherfucking self and be on code. Stop looking at each other like this motherfucker shot the sheriff or you shot the sheriff. Stop looking at him. Oh, well, his car ain't better than mine, so he ain't shit. Niggas, stop looking at women like, oh, that bitch ain't shit. She ain't about shit. And if she ain't about shit, just stay the fuck away from her. And women, stop looking at niggas like, oh, this nigga got a bucket. Fuck that nigga, he ain't shit. Man, stop a lot of that shit and come together. Because let me tell you something. The thing that scared J. Edgar Hoover the most was black unity. That's why they hated the Black Panthers. That's why they orchestrated the assassination of Fred Hampton. Trust and believe you me, and they will do it again. That's why they tried to sow discord between Malcolm X and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. They knew what they was fucking doing. They knew what the fuck they was doing. And then they hid the person who shot Brother Malcolm. And then he was able to die and have a funeral, and nobody ever even knew this was the nigga that shot and killed Malcolm X. They had no problem framing two Nation of Islam brothers. Man, get the fuck out of here. I want to hear that shit. And this is the government that you think I'm supposed to trust? Fuck that. Read and research for your motherfucking self. That's the key, man. We on the same team because racism is a team sport. And right now, they have all the resources, and you, as well as I, do not. So I don't give a fuck if you do got the house on the hill with the pool and the gated community and all that, nigga. If you're not about replacing that system and making sure things is copacetic for your people, then guess what? You might as well go work for the other team. You might as well be a fucking agent provocateur or be co-opted and go work for them. So all you boot-licking, tell them about the gun line, Hayward Shepherd, Sambo, Coon, Mammy, Steven from Django motherfuckers that get on these jobs and treat other niggas like shit and take pleasure and pride in doing that. Nigga, you got me fucked up. Nigga, you a Sambo Coon. Guilty, nigga. I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing. I'm out of here. You already know what it is. No, I don't know TV. You know what it is. Goddess, Yamaya, hey, man. You know what it is, man. I'm glad you're doing good. And yes, I do remember who you are. I'm glad you're doing good. Stay up. Keep your head up. Handle your business. You know what it is, man. I'm out. Peace.